Paris, thank you. 3 words are being used to sum up this year's Cook County Racial Equity Week: imagine, intersect, act. It's the 3rd year of the push for advancing racial equity at the county level, created before but made more relevant in the wake of the racial reckoning after George Floyd's murder. Take a look at today's kickoff.
We've committed to strategies and measurable outcomes that hold us accountable to the public. It's not enough just to talk about equity, we must act.
And here to talk about Racial Equity Week are Cook County Board President Tony Preckwinkle and Denise Barreto, the county's Director of Equity and Inclusion. Welcome back to Chicago tonight, both of you. So, Madam President, let's start with you, please. Let's talk about some of the progress that you've made since you started the program. Would you say that the outcomes have been the same or worse after, last year billions of dollars were pledged on racial equity?
Well, why don't we begin at the beginning? Our county work around racial equity began with my tenure. I mean, one of the things I focused on immediately was criminal justice reform, because I know that the criminal justice system disproportionately impacts Black and brown people. And we also focused, of course, on delivering healthcare, because there's a great need in communities of color for access to quality healthcare. So equity was a motivating force from the very beginning. But in the fall of 2018, after 18 months of work, we put together a policy roadmap. My chief of staff, Lynetta Haynes Turner, worked very hard with our staff and our advocates and community residents to try to figure out what direction we should be going for the next 5 years. And we put together a policy roadmap, and what we came up with was we really had to work to address racial inequity in our county. That this was a real challenge that government was in a unique position to try to address, and we ought to do everything we could with the resources available to us to address racial equity.
And of course, you've said that you are committed to measurable outcomes and accountability. How do you measure accountability? What are the measurable outcomes that you have seen that you'd like to see?
Well, first of all, I mean, one of the things we did was we said racial equity is a concern all across our operations, but we really needed to have a person on staff to focus our efforts and to kind of lead our equity and inclusion activities. And so we hired Denise Barreto, who's with us tonight, to take on that work, to take on that challenge, and to be the kind of locus for our activity in this direction. So I'd like to have Denise say a few words about the challenges that she sees and what brought her to the county.
Yeah, thank you, President Preckwinkle. Yes, essentially, I'm the final human cog in a machine that has been working for equity the entire time. And really, I see myself as more of a facilitator and a coach and an advocate to shepherd it along, because while I have the title, every person that has work in the county has a duty to equity and to look at their job in an equitable way. And some of the challenges I think that I've been faced with was really just getting my arms around all the things that we are currently doing. Because I think one of the things that happens in this equity work is people want to create new things, and it's like shiny this or shiny that, and we don't always talk and beat the drum on the things that we are doing. For example, this administration, equity has been there from the beginning, and it was a core principle of the strategic plan and the roadmap. And so part of what we're doing is connecting the dots for even ourselves internally, but also connecting the public to that. And one example of that would be like our language access policy. We've always translated things in different languages, and we've always been concerned with making sure that people had an accessible opportunity to our information. Well, a language access policy that we just launched back in May was a way to bring that to life and socialize it, as well as codify it, so that it's not something that just happens while President Preckwinkle is in office, but into perpetuity, right? It is now a policy.
And Denise, obviously your position is relatively new at the county level, but obviously the problem of racial inequity, it is not new. Do you see it as hard to turn the ship around or to right the ship?
Well, yeah, for sure. I mean, the county is 191 years old, and having somebody in place for 1 year is not going to turn it around that quickly. But again, I'm building on the momentum that was already here. And I think with everything that's gone on in our country, it's raised awareness in a way that, made it very attractive for me to come. Part of what President Preckwinkle asked is, what brought me here? It brought me here because as much as it's tough in dealing with COVID and the response to that, it's an opportunity that's making we all had to pause and we all had to stop and we all had to acknowledge, right? In my lifetime, I'm almost 50, and I've never ever seen as much people talking about what's happening and talking about it in a real and truthful way, which is something we've always been doing. And now we get to build on that and build and bring community partners along with us.
So let's talk about the diversity in Cook County. How diverse is Cook County? Commissioner Donna Miller broke it down at today's press conference. Take a look.
The census data shows that the makeup is 42% white, 24% black, 25% Hispanic or Latino, 8% Asian, and 2% other. So when we think about that, what is Cook County but diverse?
And so, Denise Barreto, back to you. Of course, you named the language access policy, but what does that diversity for Cook County mean in the day-to-day with such a growing Latinx community? For example, more contracts, or what does it mean?
Absolutely. It comes to play in a couple of ways. One, exactly as part of our contract compliance, we're among the most transparent in the way that we report that data. Other people report it, but when we report it, we break it down in a way that shows, we're having a tide that goes up, but we want you to know that, business with Black-owned women, women-owned businesses is up 95% versus other things. And yeah, it was a small number, but the point is the fact that we are talking about it and we're looking at the data in a disaggregated way, that gives us a chance to pull different levers and figure out what are the ways to bring more people into that opportunity. The cultural competence part, I think everyone often thinks about racial equity as just a race thing, right? It's Black, Brown, Latinx, but racial equity actually is a lens that covers all the areas of marginalization. And so while it's not enough to just talk about things from a racial point of view, we got to think about abilities and disabled folks and folks at the various gender expressions and gender and sexual identities. When you think about it in that way, that's what we're
And before we run out of time, Madam President, I want to bring it back to you. You announced that an $80,000 grant was given to Instituto del Progreso Latino. Will more grants like that be given with some of the $1 billion in federal COVID-19 relief funds that the county's received?
Sure, but those resources were our own this summer. We added to the support that had been given, for example, to North Lawndale Employment Network. I was at a press conference there earlier in the summer, as well as Instituto del Progreso Latino. And that was for an alternative high school for young people at risk who've been involved in the criminal justice system. So we've tried to support the efforts to not only build communities, but address the violence that has plagued so many of our neighborhoods with additional resources this summer on top of our usual allocations.
Okay, a lot to talk about here. We could talk about this a lot longer, but we're out of time. My thanks to Cook County Board President Tony Preckwinkle and Denise Barreto for joining us.
Thank you, Brandis.
Thank you so much.